Everyone.
This is what I'm not good at.
As I ring the bowl this morning, allow the sound to resonate around you and through you. Breathe, relax, and think of these words from Reverend Hope Johnson. We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. Thank you, Nevin and Michael. And Reverend Catherine would like to say something.
I'm going to jump in on our normal order of service with a big thank you, and I'm going to need you all to help me. So if Nancy and John and Eileen are willing to join me up here, as we all came in today, did anyone else notice the big, beautiful symbol of our values? Right? And our principles did not go away because they are part of us. They are in our library. They were the location, the design, our graphic design team, our print and source for Proc, and Nancy really led this movement to make sure that we can return to this congregational year able to celebrate our new values and celebrate our new space. And so I think that they deserve a really big thank you, and I would like y'all to help me if you're willing to. Thank you, y'all.
Well, good morning, members, friends, and visitors and Zoomers to the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River. We are an intentional community gathered around our mission to support each other's individual spiritual journeys and to inspire, inform, and support all who seek a more equal and just community. And we're pleased that you are all here with us this morning, be it here in person or joining us on live stream. As we begin our new church year and we celebrate the Ingathering and Water Communion, our coming back together after the summers, perhaps where people were traveling and we were off doing different things. But we had an outstanding summer discussion series, and I want to thank everyone who did volunteer to lead a discussion this summer. There was an array of fascinating topics, and we had really a fabulous attendance this year too. So thank you all. So I'm Nancy Holland, along with Connie Schroth. We're your service leaders this morning, and welcoming back for her second year of our ministry, our Reverend Catherine Adams. And Reverend Catherine's sermon this morning is entitled Ingathering, Emergence, and we look forward to this. We also have Michael at the piano, our tech team in the back today, David. We welcome Nevin as our special guest musician this morning, Vita for her lovely flower arrangements as always, and all those other volunteers named in your order of service who make this Sunday and every Sunday possible. We are grateful for you all. Have quite a few announcements this morning. The first is many of you, well, all of you that are listed in the directory and have an email should have received a message from Reverend Catherine inviting you to sign up or subscribe to the virtual hymnal. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but we will be singing our first hymn this morning from that hymnal. And the link that you were sent would allow, if you are interested, to go in and see all the different music that is in that new hymnal more later. Now that we're back to regular service, coffee hosts and greeters, please feel free to sign up on the whiteboard. We need your assistance every Sunday. Some information from the Chester Valley Ministers Association. Sumner Hall will be having an annual meeting on September 20th from 1 to 3 p.m. The Shelter Alliance, which is hoping to form a year-round shelter, will be hosting the Maryland Secretary of Housing and Community Development, who will speak about housing shortages on the Eastern Shore. That's Monday, September 15th at 5:30 at the Sultana headquarters. And there are some handouts about that in the lobby. If you're interested, you can pick one up. And also the NAACP Kent County branch will be hosting the annual Martin Luther King Freedom Fund Scholarship Banquet October 4th. And tickets are available, must be purchased in advance. I think there's something on the table about that too. And now we'll light the chalice. Connie will read the words, and I think my friend and I will help out.
The words I will be reading are in your insert today in, in your announcements. And we're going to be reading that. I'll read the first one, and then you'll read the next, all the way down. Okay? We, bearers of the dream, affirm that a new vision of hope is emerging. We pledge to work for that community in which justice will be actively present. We affirm that there is struggle yet ahead. Yet we know that in the struggle is the hope for the future. We affirm that we are co-creators of the future, not passive pawns. And we stand united in our affirmation of our hope and vision of a just and inclusive society. We affirm the unity of all persons. We affirm brotherhood and sisterhood that allows us to touch upon each other's humanity. We affirm a unity that opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to see the different but common forms of oppression, suffering, and pain. Yet we are one in the image of God, and we celebrate our hopes for human unity. Within ourselves and within the gathered community, we will discover the strength not to hide in indifference. Affirming that hope, publicly expressed, energizes and enables us to move forward. Together we pledge action to transcend barriers, be they racial, political, economic, social, or religious. We pledge to make our tomorrows become our todays.
Oh, okay, so we're going to have the first hymn, which is Joy in the Morning, which is from our virtual hymnal. Michael's going to play the tune through for us once. It's fairly simple and repetitive. In your insert, the back of your It's on the back of your insert. Thank you, thank you. So, what did you think of the new hymn? First time through, right? Yeah, a little, okay. So as I was mentioning that Reverend Catherine had invited all the congregation to access the new virtual hymnal, which is just been released in August by the UUA. And it's an effort to bring some new and more contemporary music to us without having to print, the expense and everything of printing books, hymnals. We will still be using our gray living the singing tradition and the teal singing the journey. And eventually many of those hymns will be incorporated into the virtual hymnal. Right now, it started with about 50 new songs, and they're adding 5 every month, right? And Reverend Catherine and I and our tech team have met to see how is going to be a good way for us to include, whether we do some projection of music, or as we did here, an insert. So there's some tech issues to be worked out, but it's an exciting new adventure and a nice way to open the.
As we care for each other here today, let us also care for this church, its mission and programs, by giving as you can, for we are now the keepers of the flame.
Today, as we start our congregational year, we open with our traditional water ceremony. We are grounded in that tradition. Water is essential for life as we know it, and I invite you to look at the water you may be holding, or the water you imagine in your mind, what is in the water we are bringing to this congregational year? Water is powerful. Oceans shape and reshape the coastlines and carve to release rocks that create nature's buffering system. Water is flexible. It's a fluid. It occupies the shape of whatever container holds it. It wastes no times on should, fully adapting to what is. And water is everywhere. Our own bodies are 70% water. Water is life-giving, and all life as we know it needs water. It is not optional. Let's take a breath together. In a moment or two, we will start a procession, mixing the waters of previous years with the waters we bring with us today, signifying another year in the life of this congregation. As we come forward, what are you bringing into our mingled water for this congregational year? Please name what you're bringing into the microphone as you add your water, and as always, it's okay to pass. Let us receive and recognize what each and every one of us brings to this community. Let us ground in and live our values as in Unitarian Universalist theology. Connie, would you lead us off?
This water is from the rain gauge in the Serenity Garden at Heron Point. I was so thrilled last night when it started to rain, and this is how much was in the rain gauge this morning. So it's a thank you to the heavens.
Our appreciation for ecology. Please, everyone who has water, come forward to add. And if you don't have water but have something you want to name that you're bringing to this congregational year, let's use that too.
We're bringing water from the Unitarian Church, which means a lot to us. So this represents the 7 values of Unitarians, and it's also rainwater.
Thank you.
This water is less muddy than the 46 turtles, baby snapping turtles that we led to it.
This is water from Lake Chautauqua. Chautauqua is my happy place.
This is water from our well here at the church, but it stands for showing up.
Presence and environment and life. I love it.
Mine is also rain, water, and just in gratitude for the replenishment. It's been dry.
Replenishment and resilience.
This water is from Amsterdam, Holland. I brought it from a canal there and saved it and froze it since July. I finally have water that's not from the Chester River. And what I'm thinking about is learning, because I learned so much about being over there with other people and how they live. And this congregation here is so good about learning. We're all learners here, which is one reason I love this church.
Celebrating difference, learning across difference.
This water is rainwater from my house from the rain last night, and I think it could have been rainwater or groundwater anywhere in the world at any previous time, because it recycles as our earth recycles.
How we're all interconnected. So beautiful.
This This water is from Chincoteague Channel, my happy place, and I bring care to the church.
I wish I'd thought to collect rainwater. This is actually from the tap in Wilmington, and it was supposed to be from Chincoteague, but we didn't think to catch any. But we went with Mom, so it's our happy place too.
So not bringing water, but very happy to be bringing Jean Michael this year.
Thank you, Jean Michael, and thank you, Marty.
This water is from, I obtained it from my tap, but the most recent science tells us that water is actually older than the sun, and all water on Earth comes from the stars. We are all star stuff. We're all of one.
I'm hearing so many sermons and what people are bringing.
I have a virtual water, and I want to start up with the Hudson because I attended a family wedding right in Jersey City, right across from New York City. So we were looking on the Hudson River, and then I'm imagining that water flowing down to the Chester. So imagine, I don't know all the waterways, but I know it comes all down, right? And then the Chester River, and then down through the bay, and then down to the Atlantic Ocean. I spent a good amount of time in North Carolina with my son. So I'm just imagining that water flowing.
Water connecting family in a beautiful flow.
The water which I brought this morning was actually from here, and it was dated back to '06, even before some of us were here.
Can you stop for a second? I'm a research chemist, and I wish someday I can teach a whole semester on just water. This water is a symbol of Mahatma Gandhi, who, if you have seen the motion picture Gandhi, you'll see a salt march, where he marched for 2 weeks to the ocean, and he broke the law that you cannot make salt from seawater. And that united the whole country for the independence movement. This was in 1930.
A beautiful example of civil disobedience. Thank you all. We are the bearers of a dream, of a new hope emerging, and each of us brings elements of this new hope to this congregational year. All the gifts and what we were bringing that we combined with the song as we sang, and with the water we merged together. In the song, we sang about joy in the morning. Every day is another day that we are here. We sang about hope for the children and got to celebrate some of our youth who are with us today. Strength in each other. People are showing up for each other and engaging. And love is all around. Cornel West famously said that justice is what love looks like in public, and the people are calling for justice. We are the bearers of the dream of a new hope emerging. Bearing that dream speaks to our living tradition of Unitarian Universalism. Last year, I had to make some decisions about responding to actions from this administration. And I honestly went to the Harvard Square Library and read and watched videos from our Unitarian Universalist ancestors in faith and what they were doing in the 1930s and 1940s. Their responses, their legacy, it's part of the dream that I carry, that all of us carry. And I also reviewed the history of one of our Unitarian ancestors that we don't often like to claim. John C. Calhoun was one of the most powerful antebellum politicians, a South Carolinian who led the South in their fight for the right to enslave humans. He argued slavery was good for the enslaved. He led Southern nationalism and secessionism. Along with John Quincy Adams, who has a very different history and perspective, they are both founding members of All Souls Unitarian Church in DC. All Souls does a beautiful job naming, owning their complex history on their webpage, and celebrating who they are now, carrying our legacy with honesty and grace, amazing grace, as we heard played, is emerging. We can do this. Unitarian Universalism today is different because we are a living tradition, grounded in our values and expressing a liberation theology. How do I live this moment? That's my choice. No administration chooses that. No government piece chooses that. No service chooses that. I am 100% committed to pull white supremacy culture out of myself. I can learn. I can forgive myself and others when in learning we get it wrong. I can build my understanding of Unitarian Universalist theology, or what is of ultimate concern. I want to name the struggle and how I want to engage and what gives me hope and joy. In other words, what wants to emerge. What does your Unitarian Universalist theology call you to do today? I look forward to discussing that during our discussion. My Unitarian Universalist theology is integral to the hope that's emerging. It calls me to demand human rights. And that sounds simple, but beloveds, how many times have we said how simple is not easy? This is not an easy time. It's a transformational time. And that means naming and mourning actions that undermine human rights, deny people due process, and are grounded in oppression of any sort. This is part of the hope in the children and our strength in each other. Strength in each other calls us to build coalitions with people whose views may not wholly align with our own. With rising authoritarianism, the lower judicial courts and we, the people, are holding the line for a democratic United States. We, the people, need a broad-based coalition, and we need to imagine what we want to create with a commitment backed up with civil disobedience when necessary. Aparna Ragul is a lawyer, a former natural resources tribal environmentalist lawyer who catalyzes radical reimagining of human relationships to land, water, wildlife, to center the values of reciprocity, humility, justice, belonging, compassion, and interdependence. Did anyone else hear some UU values that might be resonant with that description of her work? Right? It's from her page in the Nirvana group. And this redefining of humanity's relationship with each other and the earth is part of what's emerging in this time. It's essential for how we're going to find strength in each other and our relationship to the earth. Her work, one of her pieces she titled DEI Jiu-Jitsu, was inspiring. and I will freely admit that my background in martial arts may have piqued my interest. Instead of word substitution, diversity, equity, and inclusion for representation, fairness, and belonging, she calls us to own where DEI fell short, to transform our work and invites us into a deeper expression with 4 Ps: precise, plain, principled, and non-performative. Precise, clear, avoid generalizations or acronyms. I just said avoid acronyms. Plain, speak in plain language. We actually had to have a law, the Plain Writing Act of 2010, to communicate in plain language, right? And I see all my communicators in the community nodding because we know that communicating complex ideas, and I named some complex ideas in the beginning, in plain language is not easy, right? For example, I know I have used cis heteroracial patriarchy from the pulpit. What exactly does that mean? Is that plain language? For me, it names some identities that have been assumed normal, and so they generally go unnamed in our culture. And those unnamed characteristics receive structural benefits in our society. Without clarity, some people heard this as people with those identities are bad, and it fed a backlash. Does that make sense? Structural racism is bad, and we find strength in each other. No human's bad. Yes, I just opened the Pandora box of the whatabouts. This naming is a practice in part that I've been doing to pull that white supremacy culture, those assumptions, out of my body, mind, and heart. It's part of how I build the muscle to have conversations about race in America, and they're often awkward. Stay in them when they're uncomfortable. And the practice reminds me that it was not always this way. I've been researching my ancestors, and my Irish grandmother from Ireland would never have called herself white. That didn't occur to her. She would have been Irish, maybe Irish American, would never have considered it to call herself white. It's a created concept that we have been taught. Well, I don't know about you, but anything I've been taught, I am a master at unlearning. It doesn't have to be this way. It is not inevitable, right? So it was eternal, it's always been this way. It's inevitable. No matter what you do, this is what's gonna happen. Ain't nothing in this world that's inevitable, right? The arc of the universe is long and it bends towards justice when we get out our hammers and we make it happen. That is on us. And we can change it. We are responsible for what we do with the time and the resources we have. This congregational year, we may practice the ethics and politics of responsibility, as author Tim Snyder invites us to, and embrace a deep, radical welcome. So everyone who comes through the doors, whichever door they choose to use, what do you need to belong here? What will help you feel welcome? Returning to the 4 Ps, principled. As in rooting in our values, irrespective of what is happening in the world. Structures may be dismantled, but values and beliefs persist. Isn't that what we are called to do? Live our values? Awaking each day with joy in the morning that I am here is living my values. Connecting with nature is living my values. Living all the UU values on our walls deeply is emerging in this time. And one I'm going to invite us to focus on a little bit is pluralism. My Unitarian Universalist tradition comes from a Christian tradition, and we welcome Christian UUs. as well as other world religions and modern science. It is a rich and storied tradition, and sometimes complex. And this may be hard, but last year, in small interactions, I experienced and even to my regret, participated in some anti-Christian microaggressions. For any who experienced harm, I am sorry. It was never my intent to harm or to allow harm, but I honor the impact and I apologize. I am responsible for our worship services and their impact as your minister. I spent a lot of my summer reading and exploring and studying progressive Christian theology, mostly contemporary leaders such as Reverend William Barber, whose protests in DC are fabulous, if anyone's willing to head to the Western Shore. Father Richard Rohr, Reverend Jackie Lewis, and author Father Thomas Merton, who spent much of his life as a monk and was deeply connected to the Eastern traditions. I found the experience helpful for continuing and deepening my reframing of my relationship with Christianity from my Exodus story, why I left, through what I still hold as assumptions, and I find them when I do the reading and the work, to a Genesis story of how it is present in my UU theology. I don't espouse a specific doctrine or dogma. While this vital work for us to relive our values in this time, it's even more urgent now. It's essential for us to be welcoming. It's essential for us to live our values. And the administration is grounded in and supported by something I have called white Christian nationalism. And this is the last time I will call it that. I'm coming alongside Reverend William Barber, minister, activist, and public theologian, who actively supports a healthy Christianity that welcomes everyone's expression of who you are, male, female, across gender, across race, whoever you are. And he speaks of them as white religious nationalists. And as a religious leader, I am responsible to speak out. The ministry of Jesus is not present in the actions that make children go hungry, deny people medical care, and siphon even more wealth to the top 1%, creating yet more billionaires. This is not Christian. Kidnapping our neighbors from our streets because they are brown is not Christian. ICE is recruiting using Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1-8. Then I heard a voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, send me." The text is used in a background of military actions, helicopters, night vision, military-style uniforms, with a song, "Sooner or Later Gotta Cut You Down," from an official government DHS account. This is today. Let's take a breath. Like water, I am here. Now I am present. I may not like it, but my opinion is not necessary on that. I am still here. Joy comes when we live in the moment, regardless of our opinion of it. That's where we start our spiritual work. First, this misuses and decontextualizes the text. Isaiah chapter 6 commissions Isaiah to go forth and curse a people with sight but no perception, hearing but no understanding, and hearts of stone to the utter destruction of a nation. Does that description sound familiar to anyone else? Second, the militaristic nationalistic vision aligns neither with the principles of this country nor what Christianity means to me. Jesus preached, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor. In the context he was preaching, there were over 119 rules a good Jewish person had to follow. That's a lot of rules. I don't think I could remember 119 rules. And when he said that, he said, if you do these two things, you're good. Love God, love your neighbor. The Bible calls us to recognize that we were all strangers in this land at one time. Humanity started in Northern Africa, y'all. And all throughout the book of Isaiah, God is upset with the wealthy, the inhospitable, and those who don't hear the pleas of widows and children. Religious nationalism is wrong and dangerous. It teaches people to be a good person. You have to do, insert blank here. We need to join our voices in religious response. This is how we build strength in each other. So this year, I invite a deep exploration of our Unitarian Universalist theology. What does UU Christianity mean? How do we best partner with our progressive interfaith colleagues in social justice? What does it look like to live our UU value of pluralism and support our own journeys from Exodus to Genesis, whatever we're exodusing from? If there is a part of us that is or was hurt, how do we heal it? The Isaiah verse talks about how to heal that disconnection and hurt, to connect with each other, to see this and each other with perception, and the stranger with perception, understanding, and an open heart. In doing this, we offer radical welcome to both our UU Christian members, our Christian community members who are neighbors and friends, and those of us who have no tie to Christianity whatsoever. I am not saying we become a Christian church. We are a pluralistic church. Whether you have a tie to another faith tradition, whether you have a tie, are deeply atheist and believe that humanism is all that there is, and that's enough. That's okay too. We are all here together, and we can all learn from each other. We lead, when we do that work, we can lead with our genesis, with our vision, and I want that for us so badly. So I have a sign-up sheet out in the lobby for a Bible study. And the first verse that we will go through will be from Isaiah. We will jointly establish how and when we meet, and the first few sessions will be building our covenant to establish how we will be together and what will work. Any who choose to come, please bring your open mind, hearts, and spirits. We also invite our awareness of how things may come up for us in our bodies, and as we lean into transformation. Let us manifest the 4 Ps by living our values. Which brings me to my last one. And know what, whether you choose this path or another path, whether your path is walking through the woods, celebrating with water, may it be non-performative. And this is important. For me, this invites the reflection on the process of emergence. The emergence of butterflies from the chrysalis is hard, and we had that beautiful example from getting to watch our monarchs, right? It looks like it's likely uncomfortable and probably painful, although I've never been a butterfly that I know of, so I can't say. Yet it is that struggle that pushes the fluid out into the wings that allow them to fly for the rest of their life. Performative work does not push the fluid out. I attend a class, I read a book, I have a conversation, but I don't reflect on it. I don't integrate it. I don't work with the material. I don't feel any feelings that come up. I stay indifferent. Then I don't change how I act or react. My participation was performative, and that will never lead to transformation. Non-performative emergence is hard, and these are hard times. We can find joy in the morning giving ourselves time and reflection and forgiveness because, spoiler, we will all get it wrong. I know I have. Non-performative engagement and emergence is not something anyone else can do for us. It is us doing our work, owning our patterns, finding strength in the resulting wholeness. It is the individual part of creating the future we want to see, resulting in a deep, true joy that is not created in the context of the present moment and thus can also not be destroyed by the context of the present moment. And it leaves a legacy, like the legacy I pulled on, of resistance and vision. Non-performative emergence is what will make us the co-creators of our future, that honors our strength and unity as one human community. In summary, what wants to emerge for us in this time started with what we named with the water we brought. It comes in all our voices, grounded in history and a legacy of transformation, informed by our values and how we choose to act. We can create joy in the morning and hope for the children and strength with each other. All together, we can build our vision to include our gifts, talents, hopes, and dreams, mixed with and acknowledging and living our losses, grief, pain, and rage. Was anyone else taught not to rage? Right? Rage tells us there's something to be engaged with and to protect. It tells us something's important. Now then we have to step back and take a look at what that is and how we're going to respond. I'm not saying reactive rage, but it's okay to rage. We, in the larger community, can act to bring it forth in this time of upheaval. So now please join me in singing hymn 1031 in your teal hymnal, Filled with Loving Kindness, Rising in Body or Spirit. We will sing 3 verses and change the pronouns with each one. Our first verse is to fill our cup, may I be filled with loving kindness, because we can't pour from an empty cup, right? Then may you, and depending on where you are today, that can be someone you may be struggling with, right? You can think of a specific you that you need to wish loving kindness to. And then finally, may we be filled with loving kindness. So as we start our discussion, I look forward to hearing, what does your Unitarian Universalist theology call you to do today? Breath together, we had some really heavy conversation, good conversation, but heavy. One more. May we go forth into our larger community with our calm and open hearts, make peace and grow in wholeness, live with integrity, with the spirit of life in ourselves and all living things, and being fully present to each moment of this one wild, wonderful, beautiful life. May you find your joy in the morning, y'all.
Let us extinguish the chalice. The words are in the insert under the chalice lighting. We all emerge from well within, are transformed by, and called back to love. May your mind be humbled before this mystery. May your heart grow hopeful by it. May you be sustained by this love always. Okay, and benediction. Thank you. Please join us for coffee conversation and a little birthday wish for Reverend Catherine in the lobby.
That was